said to move on and keep going. Imagine we had one more life, one more shot at sunrise. Erase everything, start with new eyes. Don't break the same tragic goodbyes. Wanna dance one way. Kept your coffee cup on my nightstand. Not to reminisce, just a reminder to never go back to the life we shared. Anytime I'm feeling the urge to look at a picture, oh, I get so confused. 'Cause I swear I am so over you. My mommy told me that we shouldn't worry. Daddy told me just a good story. He said to move on and keep going. Imagine we had one more life, one more shot at sunrise. Erase everything, start with new eyes. Don't break the same tragic goodbyes. Wanna dance one way.
One, two, coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John, you know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up. Yeah. Come on. Hey.
It's August 3rd, 2023, and I am streaming, right? Jeez, hold on, wait a second. Yes, I'm streaming. Just making sure. It's August 3rd, 2023, and this is the PHP Ugly Podcast, episode 346. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We are a weekly podcast that's focused on PHP, the PHP programming language, and the PHP community. And we are three real-world people who make our living with PHP. We stream every Thursday night around 9 p.m. And you can catch our show live. Not only can you catch our show live, but you can be part of the show by joining us in our Discord at discord.phpugly.com. And just participate. It's a lot of fun. The show's made a little better thanks to a couple sponsors, PhpStorm and honeybadger.io, as well as our very good friends and supporters on Patreon. And we're going to talk about all those people a little later. But for now, I am one of your hosts, Eric Van Johnson, and joining me tonight, he prefers to use the flow bee when he manscapes, John Congdon. And I need to click in. Wait. John Congdon. Wait, no. John Congdon.
How did you know about my Floby?
And the coding king bee of the Colorado Springs, Tom Right Up.
Hello.
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 How's everybody?
Sorry, John. I told him about your Floby.
He wasn't upset that I knew about his manscaping, but, you know, the fact that he used a Floby seemed like
Why would I care?
personal
Why would I care about that?
Yeah, everyone's got to trim a little bit.
All right. Already taking that one a little too far. How's everybody doing?
I think that might have been the longest intro yet.
My part or the general music leading
It's
up?
his show.
No.
He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, no, your part.
No. That is definitely not the longest. Trust me. I have gone a good solid couple minutes in intros in the past. So yeah.
Your kid is relating to you on your NPC love last week.
Gang, gang.
I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. What do you? This is the type of crap I got to put up with. This is what my dog is chewing on, so that I give her a treat. Look at that.
That's perfect for the audio listeners. They know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's
No,
just garbage.
you're garbage. What?
What?
I'm sorry. A little punchy tonight. All right. How was your week, Tom?
Oh boy. You ever just have one of those weeks where nothing that's supposed to be easy ends up being easy and just goes back and forth from testing to change to testing to change?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. So I had an interesting task this week as we're changing up some of our social media links, some of our icons, and got it done. Got this done last week actually. Pushed out for testing and review, and going over our sprint board today, I realized, hey, one of our social media icons is now incorrect because of some brain dead asshole. So I have to pull the ticket and replace the stupid icon, which requires updating Font Awesome, which requires the front end team. So
Not to go
much.
too far off here because we're just getting started. But did you hear what the newest perk for Blue subscribers is?
Oh, what, DMing people directly?
No, you would think no. It's something
That
even
is one of the perks now.
stronger now. Something even stronger. So I have a Twitter Blue subscription for the magazine. And the big thing that it initially did is you basically bought a blue check mark. I mean, that's why everybody jumped on board. Well, now the latest feature for Twitter Blue subscribers is you can now hide that check mark. I
had not heard this.
I kid you not. I actually went and looked on the PHP Architect handle, and yep. Sure enough, it is actually a toggle switch you can click to hide your blue check mark.
See, and now the next version of the feature is show your blue check mark to people who have blue check marks, but hide it to people who don't have blue check marks.
God, you are a genius. Yes,
that's exactly the point of
what's
it.
gonna
The point
happen.
of it is to hide it from people who aren't paying for it.
Yes. You should work for X.
Not a chance in hell. I literally would never, and then get fired on my first day.
You would rather work in the porn industry than work for X. Wait a minute.
I would rather work in banking. That's how awful it is.
How about you, John? How was your week?
Oh my God, where do you even start?
Well, usually on Monday.
Did it really start on Monday though? No, my week overall was good. However, I've released a new thing, a new feature. We use Firebase a lot in an application. Switching to maybe another service, kind of like that. But everything is built off of channels, and you want your users to only be able to read their data. The thing I released was we had an issue in our CI environment, even though it was a separate Firebase instance, they all use the same one. So there was a race condition. If two environments were building at the same time, running tests, you might get messages back from the queue that really weren't meant for you in that environment. So I'm like, I got it. I'm a genius. I'm going to prefix everything with the environment you're in. Seems harmless enough, except for the fact when the front end, I forgot the front end was hard coded to the original path. So the back end's writing to the proper place. Everything that relies on just back end stuff was working fine. So all my tests were fine, except for, the important stuff. The funny part was, like I said, we're kind of replacing Firebase. So we have a proof of concept piece of code that we've been working on for a couple weeks. And working with somebody this morning, they're telling me all of a sudden it stopped working. After some time, I realized it's got to be related to this because I did the same thing in that new service. But we ran out of time in debugging it because he was off for the afternoon. And because it was proof of concept, the client came back and said, this is low priority. Don't even think about it right now. Put it off. Forget about it. Okay. So I move on, working on something else. Completely separate issue. Somebody contacts me and was like, hey, I'm having trouble getting this to work in CI. Turns out, same exact problem that I was able to solve. And it took forever to figure out exactly what was happening, why. And then I start down the rabbit hole of I need to make the string dynamic in all the JavaScript files. So I touched over 15 files and it still wasn't working. So I ended up, what happened was in my debugging, when I was trying to figure something out, I put the prefix to the channel in the URL. So it was basically duplicated between the URL and the channel name. Turns out that 15 file PR was really just a single file. Done. Easy peasy. You are muted, Eric, if you are talking.
Am I muted now?
Nope, now I can hear you.
Oh, weird. Interesting.
That is weird.
Yeah, that's so I think a couple weeks ago, well, I told you about my journey on kind of troubleshooting an issue one of our developers were having with at the time was an established API endpoint, and then I turned around and worked with him to get things working, and we
So
tweaked.
this is the one they were posting a file, an image file to in a refactor. They couldn't get that working again, so then you switched it to base64 encoding.
Not exactly, no. So the API endpoint originally accepted a file, and this worked, right? This is how it always was. The developer was developing a new application, and instead of uploading a file, they decided to just do a base64, because a lot of it had to do with storing the way you have to store the file on the phone to then upload that and then you have to find that file, then upload that file. It was,
that makes sense.
there was some complexity there. We are also using CouchDB with this environment, and getting the file to store in CouchDB is a little bit, not as straightforward as just storing text. So he had gotten the idea to go with base64, it was kind of goofy, because initially I was like, why did you think this would just work? Like, this was never in scope. Like, we never discussed this. I'm not sure why you thought this would work. But I'd done some coding, got it working. I'd gone to Laracon and was getting all these reports that there were these issues. There were these issues. There were these issues. I'm like, all right. I'm like, just, let me get back to it. And last week I'd gotten back to it, and we got it working again. But I never explained to you what the issue was. And the issue was actually very kind of silly. So the API backend is base64. Base64? No. The API backend is Laravel. And I had developed that backend, and I did it, quote unquote, the Laravel way. And it's funny because you kind of make fun of that saying the Laravel way, and it holds true with any framework you use, right? If you're using a framework, it's ideal that you code the way that framework expects you to code, even though it's all PHP and you could do things other ways. If there's a way to do it using the tools within the framework, you should probably do that.
Right.
So as they were troubleshooting this endpoint issue I don't know if it's while I was gone or before I left, or I don't know when it happened exactly.
Time has no meaning here.
But why there's other developers touched the code base, and what it ended up happening is, so what was weird, first off, to give everybody kind of a little credit here, it worked locally. Like, everybody who loaded this application up locally, everything worked. So I was like, okay, why doesn't it work when we deploy to the server? What's different? And this is one of those scenarios where we have the Docker file that we use when we deploy. So we knew that the Docker file that's being ran is the same that's deployed, right?
Okay.
I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, why is it not working? And long story short, too late, I know, but it ended up being a thing. It ended up being a problem because we were using in production, we were using S3 storage, and when the person who wrote who came in and wrote code behind me, so since they didn't do it the Laravel way using the storage facade, they just did it using straight PHP, thinking, oh yeah, I know where this file is being stored. I saw the path, earlier in the code when Eric stored it, but I used the storage facade. So they were trying to then get that file using just straight PHP, which, you would think made sense. But the issue was in the .env file in production, it said, hey, we're using S3 for this disk. So that's where everything's happening, is out in S3. And the other code didn't take that into consideration. So they couldn't find the file because the file wasn't there. It wasn't locally stored. And it was just like, that took a good amount of time to troubleshoot, because I'm like, I don't understand. Like, it works everywhere else but there. So that was fun.
So locally, the storage facade is using the file system. When they did it the PHP way, it was fine.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, the local .env file was all using local disk, and yeah, everything seemed to work correctly, right? Because it worked correctly. So yeah, it was. Frank was there. Yeah, Frank was part of it. No, Frank, that actually wasn't the issue. Look, see, what am I doing here, Frank? No, Frank, that wasn't the issue. The issue was it being stored on S3. Frank thought that, which I originally said as well. I thought that in Laravel, you have an option to create a symlink in your public directory to your storage file to store stuff.
Also, it's publicly accessible.
Right. And I'm like, well, that's got to be the problem, right? That storage link must not be happening, because I just create that myself when I do applications. In the our other ops person, I guess, I don't went ahead and created it so that he's like, oh, all right, so now when we do deployments, the link will work. It'll be created, and it still wasn't working. And that's when I'm like, all right, there's something going on here. And that's, we kind of drilled down on it. Fun stuff. And this is really highlights the whole challenges with like developing microservices or even mobile applications that consume microservices, because there's like just so many areas that something could go wrong. It's like, all right, whose code isn't actually working? Is it the mobile application that's actually not working? Because the mobile developer is pretty sure everything's coded correctly and it should be working. And it's like, all right, is it the back end that's not working? It's just, there's just so many pieces to
this. Is why you're not allowed to take vacations or be away from work.
No,
just the way it is.
Plug in and just stay plugged in. You can't get hit by a bus if you don't leave the office.
There you go. Now you understand.
Well, I get it. It's all coming very clear. You know what else is very clear?
What is that?
How much we like PhpStorm. And I don't know where that commercial is anymore. Did I delete that commercial?
And it's a terrible one to begin with, but I'm not ready any other way.
Is this it?
Tools that we use as PHP developers. I want to thank JetBrains and PhpStorm for sponsoring. PhpStorm is a cutting-edge IDE tailored for PHP and web developers. If you haven't used it before, or it's been a while since you've last tried it, now's the perfect time to check it out again, because it has received significant performance improvements and an expanded feature set. Curious to see if it's the right fit for you? Head over to www.jetbrains.com/phpstorm to learn more and try it out with a 30-day free trial. Code smarter, not harder. Thank you, JetBrains.
Ooh, PhpStorm.
JetBrains PhpStorm. That was a sponsor of the show.
There's some new features. Yeah. The just before we started the show, 2023.2 dropped. So, a long-awaited feature I've been looking for got added, which is text search in Search Everywhere. So if you hit double shift, you get the Search Everywhere dialog, and now you can search within files from the Search Everywhere dialog.
So whatever file you're on, it'll search in there.
No, it searches the whole code base.
Wow, that
project.
seems like a lot for that double shift to
And
handle.
I know about the double shift, but I never use it because it's like I know my shortcuts for opening a file, searching files, searching classes. Like I haven't used
That's
search
my
everywhere,
shortcut for everything. That's my shortcut for opening files, and searching classes, and finding methods.
But all right, I'm gonna have to give that a shot again.
No, don't. Why? I mean, I use it when I can't find something. I'll use it because I'm like, okay, JetBrains AI, like where is that? And it'll pop up instead of me reaching for my mouse and clicking around menus to try to find it. That's what I'll do. But in general, you are the one that actually broke me of that habit. I used to use the shift all the time. I didn't even realize there were other options, but yeah, don't do that. It's being mean to your machine.
Well, I've been using it all week because obviously it's better than VS Code. And the problem I'm having is Git.
Really?
Yeah,
See, I don't use it for Git.
I was about to say I started using it with pull requests and code review lately, and it's phenomenal.
So that's the big thing in the newest release today is that it now has support for Bitbucket, pull requests and features and stuff like that.
No.
So instead of just GitHub, it now works for people who, for some reason, use Bitbucket. I've never understood why so many companies I've worked for use Bitbucket.
So wait a minute, Tom. Are you saying that Bitbucket is baked in?
I'm saying that functionality to interact with Bitbucket is now baked in.
Because I don't think the functionality to manage pull requests for GitHub is part of the base install. I think that's an extension you install.
A plugin, yeah.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know it was a thing. Again, Frank on our team in our Discord showed it to me, and I'm like, all right, I really need to start looking at using this, and then I don't.
I'm sorry. Here, it's not Bitbucket. It's GitLab integration.
Well, same thing, right? I was actually about to say, I wonder when they'll support GitLabs. But yeah, I mean, same thing. If managing pull requests is part of the core install, that would be surprising. I mean, I guess it's not bad. Well,
you would think they would start with GitHub, not GitLabs.
Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody, Frank or John, maybe if maybe it is part of maybe GitHub is part of the core install.
I believe you're right. I have the plugin installed.
I believe that GitLab is the generic API for GitHub, Bitbucket, all of those things. And so that's why the integration is starting there. Because it's
kind of like
just
everybody
global catch.
Yeah, everybody adheres to AWS S3 API endpoint. So DigitalOcean spaces, you can use AWS S3 clients because they all adhere to the same standards.
So the GitHub, it is a plugin, but it is bundled with PhpStorm now.
Oh, interesting.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Which is probably exactly what this GitLabs one is. Everything is plugins. It's just comes with it by default.
So, I mean, seriously, Vim, PhpStorm. I mean, why not just make that part of the core?
Bundle it. Yeah.
Just bundle it. Come on. Oh, I didn't tell you. Speaking of PhpStorm, I know their little segues or their commercials seem to segue into much longer conversations. I had switched from Vim to NeoVim a very long time ago, and somebody in our Discord said, "Hey, did you know there's a plugin for PhpStorm and NeoVim that gives NeoVim PhpStorm's engine. So everything everything your PhpStorm can do, you can do in NeoVim. I'm like, all right, let me check that out. And I checked it out. I'm like, yeah, okay, this looks kind of cool. And I install it, and it just doesn't work, right? Of course, I install it.
Isn't that just Vim bindings in PhpStorm?
So you're not understanding. This is actually going the other way.
Right.
This is NeoVim being able to leverage autocomplete, IntelliSense, all that stuff that's in PhpStorm in NeoVim. So if you're a NeoVim person, you just fire up your JetBrains IDE, in my case it was PhpStorm, and then you do your work in NeoVim, and it's like you have all that functionality, which I have said in the past, and I will say again, I would pay JetBrains to develop a NeoVim extension, plugin, package. Not that I have any issue with PhpStorm. I've been using it religiously for like every day now since before tech. So I have no issue with that. But you guys would be awesome to create like an actual JetBrains NeoVim. Actually, the probably the better way to go is server, language server. So create a language server that we can tie into from our NeoVim configuration. You guys would be awesome. But anyways, I'm getting off track. You guys are getting me off track. So I try this. I'm like, all right, everything seems to be working. Like everything says it's connected, but I'm not really noticing anything different. All my code completions are the same, and like nothing seems to be happening. And the other thing was that your PhpStorm was supposed to update in real time as well. So if you ever do switch from NeoVim to PhpStorm, typically if you edit a PhpStorm file outside of PhpStorm, when you click over to PhpStorm, it takes a second to kind of pull in all those changes, which is fine. I mean, it's kind of to be expected, but with this plugin, supposedly that you didn't have to worry about that. And I wasn't seeing that. So I'm like, okay, this doesn't seem to work. I whatever. I don't really need it, so I'm not too worried about it. And I just moved on. Well, now rewind back when I was helping our mobile developer figure out the issues with this application that they were having. I was doing this JavaScript stuff, which was weird. But no, I was doing JavaScript, and PhpStorm said, hey, you know what? You may be better served using WebStorm for these sort of projects. I'm like, hey, yeah, I got WebStorm because I have the whole suite. I pay for the whole suite. So I'm like, I got WebStorm. I never really understood what the difference was, but sure, I'll fire up WebStorm. So I fired up WebStorm, and because I'm lazy, I just import all my extensions and stuff because I wanted my Vim bindings in WebStorm. So I import all my extensions and everything. And I forget what happened, but so I have WebStorm running, and I start to do some coding in NeoVim on the project. I don't know why I had switched over. I just naturally gravitate to NeoVim a lot. So I'm doing stuff, and I'm noticing, I'm like, wait, what is this, all this auto-completion? Like, wait, what's happening right now? And I'm like, did I install something I don't remember installing? It was working. That bridge, it's called like I forget what it's called. I think it's called like NeoVim Bridge or something. That bridge was working for that IDE. And I went back later and looked at the actual repo, and it says, hey, I know this works for WebStorm and I forget what else. There was like 2 or 3 other things, that other IDEs that they knew it worked, JetBrains IDEs that they knew it worked with. And he basically says, so I assume it works for all of them. I'm like, well, it does work for PhpStorm, but so yeah, it was actually, this bridge was actually working. And I've got to be honest, it was freaking cool. Now, I don't know JavaScript very well, and so my coding ability was very limited of what I was doing. But when I realized what was happening, I opened up the editors side by side. And as I was typing in NeoVim, my little web storm was typing as well. It was very cool. Now I want it for PhpStorm. Like now it's like no, I want this to work now. Yeah. That's my ramble. That's my ramble for this week.
Eric, do you want to talk about the thing I brought up in Slack? Feature articles.
Your OnlyFans? Oh, feature articles. Sure. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we can talk about my OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Which one do you want to talk about?
Let's go feature articles this week. We'll talk about
Right.
OnlyFans next week.
All right. Fair. Just a little tease for next week. You know.
Trust me, it's a little tease. But
Eric had a great idea this week. We're always looking for feature articles for the
whoa. Are we doing what I suggested?
That's what I asked you in Slack.
How?
I just thought you were going. I thought we were going to ask for feature article contributors.
No.
Okay, yeah. Now I'm excited. I'm like, sure, we can try to get feature article contributors, whatever. But yes, do it. Do the thing.
No,
Say the thing. Do
what
it.
is happening?
All right. Normally, we pay for feature articles. No, just kidding.
Now you pay us.
We are excited. Last week, we announced the dates of PHP Tech, April 23rd through the 25th, 2024. What Eric came up with, what I thought was a great idea, we want feature articles, and we're willing, instead of paying cash, we will give you a ticket to PHP Tech instead. So if you would like a free ticket to PHP Tech, write us a good article. Has to be accepted. We have to approve it.
Publish
all
it.
the normal stuff. But
Rules.
that is an option now. You could choose cash or a ticket to PHP Tech 2024.
Yeah. I'm very, very excited about that.
I thought that was a great idea.
We're actually trying to come up with more ways for people to get tickets to PHP Tech. So, hopefully we'll have some more ideas. The biggest idea we have is have your work pay for it. It's usually a good way to do this.
That's a very good way. And if you have a team of developers, let me know. We can work something out.
Bring out the whole team.
Yeah, last year, PhoneBurner brought their entire team. They sponsored PHP Tech, brought the entire team. So they, as a team, went to various talks, whatever they wanted to, had great discussions around it, and then took that Friday. They got a conference room at the hotel and spent the entire day had a whole schedule of, from this time to this time, we're going to talk about the presentations we went to, what we thought about the conference, was it worth it? Of course, the answer is yes. And then it was a day around team building / how are we going to take what we learned and make the company better. If you have a company that has a team that you want to bring to PHP Tech and you would like a conference room on Friday, let me know. We can work something out. It's a great way to extend the conference, but make it business oriented, where you can still do team building. You can still, improve your product quickly.
So in our Discord, Sevi asked, would we consider an article from a hobby programmer? I'm not sure why you would think we would not consider that, but absolutely we would consider that. There is
It's a good article, man.
There's no requirements. I mean, PHP developers, not all PHP developers get paid to be a PHP developer. So yeah, absolutely. If you have a good article idea, and feel free to reach out to John and I. We have a couple of email addresses you can use to do that. But and bounce the ideas off us. Or if you're in our Discord, like you are, Sevi, ping us in the Discord. We'll be more than happy to talk to you there as well. But yes, absolutely, 100%. You don't have to be a professional PHP developer.
You have to be passionate. You have to care about what you're writing. Write something interesting. Write on a topic. use it as a learning tool. If you're learning something new, take the opportunity to learn even more because you're going to share knowledge with other people. It's a great opportunity to do that as well.
In fact, am learning something new and thinking about writing an article for PHP Architect as well.
That would be fantastic. The only requirements we have is it needs to be 2,500 words or more. Between 2,500 and 3,500 is kind of the sweet spot. 2,500 is very easy to hit, Tom. Trust me. Once you start writing out an article, 2,500 you can hit pretty easily. But yeah, 2,500 to 3,500. Anything over 3,500, then John and I have to kind of figure out, okay, is this going to be a multi-part article, or are we going to have one big article? If you have a big article, don't hesitate to submit it. We'll handle that on our side.
Oh yeah, no. If I had a big article, I'd be showing it to everyone.
If you really want to be kind, we prefer Markdown when you submit, and if you can run it through something like Grammarly to just kind of do a grammar check on all your stuff, it just makes the pipeline on our end move a lot faster, because that's what we end up doing. We end up putting everything through Grammarly and checking it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, look at it.
Yeah, you know, my thing lately, as you guys know, has been setting up this sort of home server rack thing, doing lots of fun things with Proxmox and Pi-hole and virtual services, Portainer. So be interested in teaching people how to run a home staging server that is treated like a completely isolated server from the rest of your network, and using it for any number of staging environments that you would want to spin up.
So you're talking about for like a work situation where you want to have a staging,
or for a contractor or a hobbyist.
Right.
You
Right.
know, there's a lot of reasons where you would want to have a server that's just in an isolated state. One of the things you can do with Proxmox is have templates. So you could actually schedule it to whenever there's a new branch pushed out to your project, spin up a copy of that branch from one of your templates and start hosting it. So you could just pull it up and start testing it from a staging environment right away.
So you mean like so when you say isolated, do you mean like what did we used to call that in Unix? Jailed?
DMZ'd.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it would be either a DMZ or a VPS.
Okay.
You know, a lot of different things about it, but
It used to be
Yeah.
Chiroot. Is that what you're thinking of?
No, I was actually thinking more of when you used a shared host and they would create accounts for you.
oh,
but
sandboxed.
It wasn't sandbox. It was called like jailed or something, or some jailed account. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But
Those days are dead. Thank God.
yeah. Those are dead. Having servers in your house, days are dead. Wait, no. Sorry.
Eric, you need to tell your kids to listen, because I just a couple minutes ago said the dates of PHP Tech for next year, but I will repeat it. April 23rd through the 25th, 2024. Back in Chicago.
Back at the what you call it? Sheraton Suites.
Yep.
O'Hara Sheraton Suites. So looking forward to it. Contracts have been signed, so this is happening again, apparently. We're very excited. No, we are. We're excited about it.
That's a better take than Wave, because after Wave, the immediate response was, "We're never ever doing this ever again."
That was John's response. I was down, man. I could have kept going. Just couldn't afford to keep going, but I could have kept going.
John's response was very physical as well. Yeah, Wave tried to kill me, so nah.
No, I'm good. Not again.
I keep saying it. I'll continue to say it. Still one of my favorite conferences. I think
Oh, yeah, it's
We did
beautiful,
things
fun.
people have not been able to duplicate, but
You know who we need to get the sponsor PHP Tech?
Honey Badger.
Honey Badger.
Honey Badger, yes.
You weren't just busy like finding the video as he lined it up for you like that?
No, I actually decided I wasn't playing the video this week because I talk about having they have a free tier, and they don't have a free tier anymore.
No,
But
they don't. It's not expensive. I looked it up, and it's, I believe, $15. Is it $15 a month, or boy? Let me pull that real quick.
so very
19 per month.
like
19
PHP
per month,
Storm,
yeah.
we have always said that if you're a professional developer or you have a business that depends on your development, use PHP Storm. But to monitor that, use honeybadger.io. We use Honeybadger. We've used Honeybadger here before we were PHP Architect, back when we were Diego Dev, well before they sponsored us. We used Honeybadger. Now we've continued to expand our usage of Honeybadger, and we have a fairly
And we don't get a break.
No, we don't. We don't get a break. We don't have any discount code, not discount code, referral codes, or anything
codes.
like that for either one of our sponsors. I mean, there's no way for them to tell that you got to their site through us.
You could tweet to them and thank them for sponsoring the show, or Mastodon them.
The
Toot.
What is that? Toot. Oh yeah, right. Mention they should become sponsors of PHP Tech. Is it not tweet anymore? What do they call an X?
Post.
Just post?
Just a post.
Well, that's original.
So Honeybadger does have a 30-day free trial.
Yeah, they have a 30-day free trial, and if you're an open source project or a nonprofit, they want you to email them. They will be accommodating. One of the really cool things about Honeybadger that I have run into as a problem recently on other services is overages. They have a great policy of they'll process 125% of your limit if you're on a limited account, and you can enable overage billing so that they don't just shut you off. They bill you at something around 0.03 of a cent for a message.
Yeah.
3,000ths of a cent. 300ths of a cent, whatever. So,
and we've said it before. I think somebody just now said it. Actually, the people at honeybadger.io are super friendly. Reach out to them with questions, issues that you're having. They're very responsive. They're very engaging. Good people over there. So check them out. What does Honeybadger do? We might not explain that, but it does a lot. It does application monitoring, so you can have it watch your error logs and check for issues within your application. It does uptime monitoring. It does cron job monitoring. And the cool thing about it is it integrates with everything. It integrates with Slack, SMS, just a bunch of stuff. But the cool thing about it is if you set it up correctly, a lot of times you can find out about problems your application's having before anybody else finds out about them, and even fix them before anybody has a chance to open up a ticket that there's an issue. So check out Honeybadger if you have a need for monitoring, and you should monitor your deployed applications. I don't care how good of a developer you think you are. You want to monitor your deployed applications, and Honeybadger kind of brings everything to the table. Application monitoring, cron job monitoring. What else did I say? There was something else.
Uptime monitoring, status
uptime
pages.
monitoring.
And
Yeah.
it's available
Oh,
for
that's
many
the other
languages.
thing. You can have a status page. So you can define what you're monitoring for uptime and then tell Honeybadger, hey, I want a public status page that shows the availability of these services. And if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I played with it. You don't have to say, oh, everything I'm doing uptime monitoring on, I want to be on my status page. You say, hey, I want my main site on the status page. I want my support page on the status page, whatever you want. It's not like an all or nothing, if I remember correctly. but you can have one of those cool, if you're wondering if our site is up, go to our status page. And I think they even give you a cool URL as well. So
so you can make your own URL up. They just host it for you, which is nice because if your system's down, your status page is probably down. So they host it on their system. You get custom branding, uptime monitoring, and you even get a little blog thing that does incident management. So you can say, we are aware of the issues. We are currently addressing them this way and this way, and communicate with your customers. So that is
And they're
that is a
integrated
very
with some
nice-
great things like PagerDuty, VictorOps, OpsGenie, AlertOps, what?
Twitter, which no longer exists.
So thanks, Honey Badger. Thank you very
you.
much.
You,
Badger.
Honey Badger.
Zombie Slayer in Discord asked, does Honey Badger have a telemetry API?
Telemetry.
What's that?
I don't know if they do, and I don't. It's
Telemetry API.
isn't that measuring things over time? I don't know.
I'm asking you what it is, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what a telemetry API is. Oh, here we go. Let's see, resource inherit configuration from parent resource, and this is not making sense to me. I don't understand.
Zombie Slayer. Basically, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't
How
know.
about that?
But you could email them and ask. They are friendly and would gladly tell you.
Feed it stats about your page load time. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they have that or not. All right. We've tried. We've already sold Honey Badger enough, Zombie Slayer. Go look yourself.
We do like it though. I mean,
We do.
so I have a question for you guys. I read this article and there's just one word over it that I keep tripping over. So the article is SEC public companies must report cyber attacks within 4 days.
4 days of them learning about it.
Yes. So the U.S. Security and Exchange Commission has set a 4-day deadline to disclose "quote unquote" material cybersecurity incidents.
Thank you. I did not know that.
The Attorney General could potentially delay that disclosure if doing so would provide a risk to the company or public safety.
That's what I was about to
hard,
say.
Yeah, you're not hard stuck to that number, but you have to talk to the Attorney General to get that exception. But
Because I mean, 4 days. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Tom. But
no.
4 days. I mean, if you learn about a vulnerability in your environment, you're basically saying you have to have this fixed within 4 days because you have to disclose it. Right? I mean, am I not understanding that correctly? I mean,
You're right. That would be crazy if you know something's happening and you don't have time to fix it and you disclose it, you're making it worse.
Well, but the word here that's getting me is public companies.
No,
mhm.
we're not public, so
Right.
Yeah.
So is this
what gets
just
you about that?
is this just a rule that applies to people who are public on the stock exchange?
It sounds that way, yeah.
What a strange rule to why limit it to companies that are listed instead of just companies
Well, because people are spending money on those stocks, and so if there's a attack or compromise on a company, and that company tries to suppress that information because they don't want their stocks to fall, that's an issue. And you
that's
said
a very good insight, Eric.
Thank
you.
Well
Now
played.
it makes more sense why that's coming from the SEC. I'm like, because when you
Right.
said that, I actually looked at the article. I'm like, he must have said that wrong because why would they be doing something like that? And now it makes sense. Yes. Yeah. I have good insight occasionally. I'll say something stupid soon enough. Trust me.
Speaking of saying something stupid, I know, Eric, that you like ChatGPT.
I do.
Have you been using it recently?
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh shoot! I didn't use it to send out tweets. We didn't tweet today.
oh, well, that might be
I
a
can't
good.
get into my Twitter account or my X account, so we're all good.
Can you
that-
really not get into your X account?
I went to log in and it's just like, nope. I didn't go the next step of,
Oh,
forgot my
trying.
password, but
Oh,
yeah.
Well, it might be good that you didn't tweet with ChatGPT because Stanford University study has confirmed what some people are saying, which is that it's getting dumber. That the more it's interacting with people and growing, its accuracy is getting way worse. In some cases, shockingly worse. One example was in March. It had an accuracy of 97.6% when identifying prime numbers. But in June, its accuracy had gone down to 2.4%,
that
What?
can't be right. Come on.
which
That
is
seems
crazy.
off. Yeah. I don't believe that.
It's a Stanford University study. Now they came back and said, "Hey, any changes we made have been to improve it, not make it dumber. We haven't done something to make it dumber." And then each time we do something to it, it gets smarter and smarter. But it sort of raises the question of like, hey, if you start relying on this thing for answering questions and it starts getting really stupid, when do you realize that it's giving you completely wrong answers?
How different is that from? And I'm not trying to justify it, or it's a concern, right? It's something we need to keep an eye on for sure. But how different is that from Googling something yourself and clicking on the wrong links, clicking on an advertisement link in a fake article or something like that? I mean,
So it's mostly the tone of ChatGPT, which is it acts authoritative about things it knows nothing about. So when you ask it a question, it comes out and says, "Absolutely, I know the answer to that. It was
No, it
Margaret
doesn't.
Thatcher."
it doesn't do that. It doesn't do that at all. Matter of fact, what it does do a lot of times will say, based on my last knowledge of the internet, which it was whatever it was, 2021 or 2020 or whatever, this is my understanding. I get that a lot. But yeah, I never get the impression like it's 100% confident of its answer. It's much like me. I'm not really sure. I think this is right, but I don't know. I don't depend on Chat GPT a lot, but it's more of I want somebody to have a conversation with and talk to, and it's there.
When it comes to wording something or giving ideas of like, give me multiple options on something, and
Right.
then I get to pick and choose. Maybe I use one of them, maybe I don't. Maybe I combine a couple of them.
Yeah, but
I mean,
see,
I
it's more-
do a lot of the. See, I have a hard time explaining myself. I tried to explain something to John earlier this week, and quickly got super frustrated with myself because I could feel that I wasn't explaining it correctly, and that's where I lean heavily on ChatGPT, where I'll say, "Okay, I have these words to say," and then what? And I'll ask it. I'm like, "What more information do you need?" And it will say, "Well, it sounds like you're asking me this, what?" And then it'll pop off a few questions. For me, as somebody who has trouble, uh, getting thoughts out of my head and explaining them to other people, ChatGPT is like almost an aid to me, because I can try to explain it to ChatGPT and then get a better understanding of the points I'm missing or the things I'm brushing over that I shouldn't be brushing over. I use ChatGPT a lot like that, a lot. It's been helpful for me. I do like it. I'll be honest. I like it. I don't use it so much for coding. I try every now and then. Somebody in our Discord shared a Python pip install that you could run on your machine and interact with ChatGPT and create code. Like it's meant to be like a pair programming situation where you're talking to it and it's writing the code and you're changing stuff and it fixes it. In watching the video on it, I'm like, wow, that is pretty cool. Like I'll try that. And I installed it and it didn't work. I'm like, well, I'm done.
So that's part of PhpStorm's newest release is the communicative co-programming
The
functionality.
JetBrains AI, which works very good. I use that. We were talking about shift. That's the thing I use shift for, because I don't know where the hell that window is in the menus. Now I found it and mapped it to I mapped it to a Vim binding, so I have it very handy now. But I was using shift because I didn't know where it was. I didn't know how to pull it up, so I do shift and just say AI. It would pull it up for me. But it works well. The thing I like about PhpStorm is you don't have that added step of sharing your code with the AI so that it can kind of generate code for you. You just pull up the AI interface and say, hey, I need to add this to this class, and it assumes the file you have open is the one you're talking about and helps you. So I like it.
It'd be nice
I don't use it that much.
10,000 line files.
What's that?
It'd be nice for me. I have some 10,000 line files I'd like to get help with sorting through. But the interesting thing to me is that all this large language model stuff is new, very new, and there's not a lot of understanding about how it really works in the long term, what's going to happen with it. So we could very well find out that large language models get dumber. Like that's just there's some fundamental concept.
Well, and there's always the very real scenario of people poisoning the well, right? I mean, we've seen this before, either knowingly or unknowingly. We talked about, and this was years ago now. This is how long we've been doing this show. We talked about it years ago about how artificial intelligence was, actually being racist because all the learning models that it had to, like, let's say, who's the best CEO? All the learning models it had was based on, systemic racism of years and years before. So all that data it collected, it was like, okay, well, you must have to be a white guy to be a CEO because that seems to be what everything else has been.
It was an issue that actually came up this week as well. An Asian woman asked an AI graphics program to make her photo look more professional, and it made her a white American woman with blue eyes. And I mean, that's the kind of stuff that you run into with these large language models, and we've sort of known about those issues, the sort of systemic issues with them for a decade. But we're going to learn new stuff too about how these models get bigger and bigger and what they end up doing when they reach certain sizes that they've never reached before. Right now we've got millions of dollars in these servers that are running these language models, but what happens when the performance doubles on those things? And
or just the scale of information. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, you've got all these people building businesses and companies around AI. It's like you all should probably press the brakes on this a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and right now we have the concept of the uncanny valley for visual things. We can see something and say that looks computer edited. It just doesn't look right. It's uncomfortable to see, or we can tell that that's a fake human in the newest Star Wars, that they dug up a model and made him talk. And we don't have that for large language models yet, but I think that day is going to come where it's just that he sort of like feels uncomfortable, gets wording things too, strictly or too loosely, or we'll see how it grows out. But it's interesting to see that institutions like Stanford are already researching what's going on with this thing that came out a few months ago.
All right, we need to go ahead. Well, let me get this going. We need to thank our supporters on Patreon.
Bees! I've got bees.
Thank you, patrons.
Thank you, patrons.
We have a new Patreon. Mel. Thank you, Mel. Yes, I did the bees just for you and to tie in with everything else. The Flow Bee, the bee coder of Colorado.
Now it all makes sense.
I have showmanship, and that's why I'm the host. Don't you forget it.
We thought we had a small crisis with the bees, because when we looked into the hive, there was no queen. But it turns out that she was on.
Queen bailed.
I think she died. So it turns out that they had made a new queen, and she was on her mating flight, and returned to the hive. So we now have a brand new queen. And
Really, return to the hive.
well, that's what they do.
Well,
Not in my backyard. They didn't.
It depends on
I'm
how
not-
traumatic the death of the queen is.
I mean, I'm not unhappy. So I had bees in my compost, and through all my reading, I said, you don't need to get rid of them. They'll leave in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Granted, it was 6 weeks, and they left on their own.
Yeah, so if they don't have a queen, they won't make a new one. But if they have a queen, they'll start breeding new queens just in case their queen dies. So it depends on what the stage of the hive was and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was what I was about to ask. I mean, did you like, was there like an established hive there, or were they just like hanging out there?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, no, they moved into my compost bin and took it over.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a swarm
Bastards.
behavior, and what they do when they do that is they're hoping that a queen will just find them and build a hive there, because they don't have any way of repopulating without the queen.
They realized what a shitty neighborhood they were in.
What's the trash in here? Damn it!
It's a trashy place.
That
was funny.
But watching them is phenomenal because, compost in general just heats up, right? And so it's in this plastic bin and it gets super hot. And there's just these tiny little holes that they're going in and out of. And you got a bunch of them right around. They're just fanning it, trying to keep it cool. It's kind of cool. Bees are awesome. I wanted to, real quick, at the end of last week's show, Sevi brought up a library that they have written, a JSON library, and I shared the URL in Discord. Just want to point out that it's available. While you guys were talking about AI, because I don't care about AI, I was looking into it a little bit, and I haven't used it, but it looks like you can encode value objects as a JSON string. So currently when I need to encode a value object, I just use the PHP serialize method. But Sevi's got another way to do it, and if it's doing what I think it's doing, that's what it is. Yes. I asked if they're still around. Sevi, if you're in Discord, correct me if I'm wrong, but that seems pretty useful.
Well, look at that. Somebody's already forked his project. I wonder who that could have been. Oh, it's me. That's right. Yes, I've been telling Sevi I was going to take a look at it and try to contribute if I could. But we all know how much free time I have to do stuff like that, and just haven't gotten to it. Last week or the week before or the last couple weeks, I talked about Jess Archer's package that she announced at Laracon called Prompt, and everybody went looking for this package and nobody could find it. There now has been released some documentation on it, but it's released on the Laravel website. And when I read it, I'm like, man, it sounds like this is just for Laravel. And I remember specifically in the presentation, she said this wasn't a Laravel centric package. Fortunately, some very sharp eyes in our Discord actually read the documentation and noticed that the documentation does say Laravel prompt. Where did it say it at? Oh, here. Laravel prompt is perfect for accepting user input in your artisan console command, but it may also be used in any command line PHP project. So I guess that the repo is just hosted. Like the documentation on the Laravel site says to install it, composer require Laravel/prompts. And now I'm curious, like, was that the install for everybody? Or is that the install for Laravel application and there's something else for everyone else? So I should go look at that because I have Sevi's repo open, so I can just type in Laravel/prompts.
Well, from what I'm seeing in videos is Just Archer unveiling Laravel prompts in Laracon US 2023. So sounds like it is Laravel prompts.
It does say Laravel prompts in the repo. Laravel prompts is a PHP package for adding beautiful user interface command line applications with browser-like features, including placeholder text and validation. And it has that same line. Perfect for artisan commands, but can be used in any command line project. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what that is, but maybe I'll just try to install it in a random project that I have, PHP project. But yeah, so that's out there. It'll be in our show notes.
I know Just Archer is a huge fan of our show, so I want to know how this differs from the console command input output, or does Laravel not use that?
So again, this is not Laravel specific.
I know this isn't supposed to be. I'm asking for Laravel commands.
Yeah. So it's there's watch the video. She goes over a lot of this, but there's a lot of interactive sort of feel for it. It's that whole, like, you can do multiple selects, or you can do like a drop down situation. There's just like a lot of normal, like, GUI, I guess is the word I'm going to use. It's like a GUI interface for the command line, for your command line scripts. I mean, it's definitely just added, salt, seasoning, right? It's like
sugar,
yeah, added sugar. That explains the problem that I'm having with my cookies. Thank you, John. It's not going to make your command line run faster or run better or do anything it can't already do. It just makes the user interface to it, if you have one, makes that more palatable to non-geeky people, or even for geeky people. It's just nice.
I might look into it just for fun for Archie.
I was thinking it would be good for Archie.
Well, speaking of watching videos, did you guys notice that Laracon has dropped 16 of the presentation videos now from the Laracon this year?
Dropped in as in released, or dropped as in deleted?
Released. So the official Laravel, YouTube channel now has.
That's got to be all of them, right?
I think it's all of them.
Yeah, I can't imagine there were more than that.
So I've enjoyed a few of them. State Machines was a nice one.
State Machines, I think, is one of my favorite ones for sure. Yeah, State Machines was really good. Jacob Bennett did a great job on that one. Yeah. What's the Laravel YouTube channel? It's not Laravel.
At Laravel PHP.
Laravel PHP. Oh, okay. Because he didn't want to get confused with the normal Laravel
Yes.
because it's not
Kissing
a real word.
Gonzo, are you going to discord.phpugly.com?
Everyone should. That's the place to go.
I get they're on our Twitch stream right now, and I guess the Discord link in there has expired. But where you want to go to is discord.phpugly.com.
Remember when we had that scrolling across the bottom of the screen, the whole video?
Yeah,
Anyways,
that one.
Last week, I promised we were going to have record numbers on our YouTube channel because we mentioned the brand new Glorbo operator.
I thought that's where you were going with the AI. I thought you were going to say, "Oh yeah, it thinks that we have a Glorbo PHP
No.
library."
I haven't been able to get that to catch on, unfortunately. But also have not delivered the promised record numbers for our video.
Shocker!
I am
I
sorry.
didn't even look. What is it?
88
84.
views.
Holy crap! That's actually lower than normal.
Yes, it is significantly lower.
Jesus.
I don't
You're
know if it's
fired.
lower than normal, but it's lower.
Speaking of, we need titles for this week's episode. People in Discord.
Titles, please. Yes, titles.
So Kissing Gonzo is saying that link is not working. It worked for me. It took me into Discord, but I'm already a member, so I am not a good use case or candidate for testing that.
Kissing Gonzo. Here, I will. Well, yeah, I can post an invite link into Discord. You'll get it through Restream. I'll do that.
But they're saying that the discord.phpugly1.com is not working. When I
know,
click
well,
on it, it took me
I'm-
right to Discord.
Well, because you're already in Discord. That's the thing, right? You're in Discord.
It's
so-
working for me.
You're in Discord too.
No, I mean, it's working for me on... I'm not logged in on my web browser.
Yeah, but
Oh.
but it's opening Discord and you're logged in on Discord.
Not for me. It's asking me what I want to be referred to as.
Oh, never mind.
Uh,
Kissing Gonzo, we don't know how Discord and Twitch work.
Yeah,
Bottom line.
apparently. All right, here I'm gonna let me find another infinity one here. Here's an infinity one. Here, all these are infinity ones. Here's an infinity one. All right, Gonzo, if you go to
Kissing Gonzo says they're already in Discord.
Oh well, then what the hell? What am I doing?
I don't know. I was just sharing what they said.
Here, Kissing Gonzo, if you need to, there is the code to join the PHP Ugly. That's basically what the discord.phpugly.com URL redirects you to. It's to discord.com/this code. So that should get you in. Hopefully, it's
They said they're already in. That's the weird part. Anyway.
yeah.
I got
Yes.
to fly
Anyway,
today.
I think. What's that?
I got to fly today. That's why I'm kind of out of breath or sound funny. It was fun. Three hikes up, 3 launches, 3 landings, all good.
I don't understand.
How long were you in the air?
6 minutes each time.
You did
It's
all
better
that
than my-
in 6 minutes.
It's better than my 2-minute
I
flights.
mean, actually, I've done things well worse for 6 minutes of pleasure. So, no.
All right, everybody. This
It's
has
a-
been PHP Ugly episode.
Fif-
I don't
15?
care.
15-minute hike up, 6-minute flight down.
Oh man. Okay, that's going to do it for episode 346. I'm Eric.
I'm John.
I'm Tom.
Keep it up.
Keep
Keep it
ugly.
ugly.
Play the video.
One,
tell me
two,
what-
1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with a clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. And shout to John, you know that he's smart and quiet. Unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up. Yeah. Come on. Hey.
Still the best thing you've contributed to the show, John.
Someone else's contribution.
Oh, so I got welcome.
I came up with the list of topics, damn it.
Welcome to PHP Ugly After Dark. Things get weird. This is not on the audio
Get
audio recording. So things can get a little kooky here. But welcome. Feel free to hang out.
Yes, we hold ourselves to a lower standard.
Much lower.
Did you see my toot earlier this week?
No.
I just like
I've
saying
not-
that. Did you see my toot?
I've not been keeping up with those.
The one where I said, you know, I'm a bad developer when. You know, I'm a bad developer. I opened a pull request to fix an issue
Oh, I did see this one.
where I updated like 3 lines to call a 5-line method, a brand new 5-line method. One file, simple PR. I put it up for code review, and all of a sudden it was like, nope, not good enough. Here's an 8-file PR, adding 220 lines of code to do the same thing I was doing. Oh, I want to be a good developer one day.
Hey, it'll happen for you, buddy.
No. Kind of getting up there in age.
Trying. You keep trying. You guys want to hear a funny story?
I'd love to.
I'll give you a funny story. I'm so pissed. I'm still pissed off about it, to be completely honest with you, but I'll share it with you anyways. I wanted to talk about it on the show, but you know how I am when telling stories. It just things take too long. So I have to get blood work done on a fairly regular basis. Long story, but I was in this week getting blood work. Side story, I literally start a website on good phlebotomists and shitty phlebotomists. I got stabbed 4 times before they got vein this week. So frustrating. As somebody who has to get stabbed a lot, when you go in and somebody can't get it done, it's like, dude, just cut off a limb and take it from there already, for Christ's sake.
Part of their training is to say, "Oh boy, you've got small veins. You could drink some water. This is
Drink water."
Yeah,
I do. That was
nothing to do with my skill. This is all your body. It's just rejecting the needle.
One of the unfortunate things with the chemo I went through is it did burn up my veins. I'm like a drug addict, right? It just burned my veins up. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. So I'm sitting in the lab, or I'm sitting in the waiting room of the lab, and I'm scrolling, my phone. I'm scrolling through Slack on my phone, and out of my peripheral vision, I see somebody who takes a weird angle and like starts walking towards me. And like the way it's set up, I'm like, dude, what are you gonna want me to do here? Like, I'm just sitting here. I can't do anything. And so I continue to scroll through my phone, and the person stops. I'm like, okay, what's happening? And then, so this is the hospital my current wife used to work at. So then I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to look up, and I know this person. It's also in the neighborhood we used to live in as well. So I'm thinking, I'm going to look up, I'm going to know who this person is. So I see them start to reach out to touch me, and I start looking up, and they startle, and it's some old lady. And she looks at me, she goes, oh, I got you confused with my husband. Her husband's sitting to my right. I turn to look at him. He's old as fuck.
I love
I'm like, what the hell? The old guy looked at me. He goes, same shirt, same shorts. I'm like, motherfucker! You're dressed like an old guy. God damn it. I got my fucking magnifying glass and my Reader's Digest crossword puzzle. Went to freaking Golden Corral for a 4:00 dinner. I'm tired of this.
old man.
I was so pissed. You should have seen the guy was so old. He like had a bandage on his face. He's just looking at me. I'm like, son of a bitch. I need a better wardrobe. I like my shirts. I like my little button-up shirts, but I can't wear them anymore. Just can't wear them. So bad. She's like, I thought you were my husband. I'm like, how did you think I was your husband? Jesus Christ.
That's how you end up in jail. Punching an old lady.
And now you're giving your kids all sorts of ammo. Look at that.
I was genuinely hurt, man. I was like, and then I go in and get stabbed 4 times. I mean, I'm already down. These guys are just. Oh my gosh, that was hysterical.
Oh God.
Hysterical.
And now your kids have heard the story too, which means they'll get to tell it to all their friends.
Oh, they know worse stories about me. I'm not even worried about this one. I know worse stories about them too. So, you know, it's kind of that mutual destruction scenario.
It's true.
Yes, that I guess I should have used it. That would be a good title there, Buttery. PHP oldies. Well, I think we're all PHP oldies at this point. Good God.
Speak for yourself.
Right.
I am loving this server that I've got running. I got Pi-hole running on it.
I'm curious how you like Pi-hole. I almost installed that on my mom's network just because the woman clicks on every advertisement and spam link that pops up on her computer. Have you noticed a big difference on like ads and stuff?
So I've already got ad blocking just all over the place on my system.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't notice a difference, but my wife has definitely noticed a difference. And
Yeah.
my kids haven't said anything, but it's, for those who don't know, it's DNS-based domain blocking.
Oh yeah, I guess we should say that.
So it does, like, if you're calling up a DNS record that's known for serving ads or being spammy or being bad in any way, then it'll just block the domain resolution and route it to nothing. So it's very interesting. You can get all sorts of different lists to use. I'm just using the current default list, which is Gravity. But if you wanted to, you could block adult sites and stuff like that from it as well. If you've got kids in the house, or if your kids are playing too much Roblox, you could just block Roblox by hand.
I mean, you can do that with any
Or you can just tell your kids to turn the TV off. That works too.
It's so fun that you don't have teenagers yet and you think you can do that. Because when you do have teenagers, I mean, there goes the rest of your hair. It's just over with. You're gonna be so gray. People will think you're as old as Eric is.
or as old as the woman that tried to hit on Eric thought he was.
Yeah.
Oh, I do pull down the old babes now. You should see me at the dog park, man. I got a couple.
Yeah,
I got a
bitches
couple.
everywhere.
Look forward to me. Current wife will back me up on this, I'm sure. All right, just a little tease. Awas isn't here now. Buttery says one of his title suggestions is Awas isn't here now. Here's my chance.
That was the very first title suggestion of the night.
Oh, that's awesome! I'm so loving that. I'm so loving that. All right. Okay, redacted by. That's kind of cute. Multi-part. Tom's big article, filling Tom. I think this is it. Filling Tom's pie hole.
But we
I
didn't
think
talk about it on the podcast.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, we didn't?
You brought it up. That's how that got.
I mentioned it in a list of things I'm running. It's Proxmox, Pi-hole,
Right.
bunch of NZB stuff.
So you mentioned it.
HA proxy is one of the things I'm going to get into soon, which is going to be a nightmare.
That one's cute too. BeeHP.
Yeah, I like that one
BeeHP.
too.
All right, that's the show title. NorCal Kid, are you doing this? It's
Wait, was it NorCal Kid that had blood in their ears, or was it SoCal Kid? I got confused.
I hope it's neither one of them. What the hell are you
Blood in
talking
their
about?
ears? What are you?
Yeah,
What are you on?
they had blood pumping in their ears. Do you not pay attention to Discord during the show?
No, I've told you this many times.
It was weird. I asked why they had blood pumping in their ears.
I think it's NorCal Kid. I don't know.
Yep. Pay attention to the show.
I am the show. What do you mean? Pay attention to the show.
Of course.
I was at the gym.
Oh, right.
Did you find it? Listening at work is easy. I can't hear over the pumping of blood in my ears. I'm like, why do you have blood pumping in your ears?
So one interesting thing with Proxmox is you can create these LXC containers, and those are just like pure Linux kernel containers. They are very fast, minimal effect. But if you have like 3 or 4 services that you want on it on one container, you can also install Portainer to manage your Docker containers on your LXC container. So you can really stack things up fancy.
Who's doing music? Is that you, John?
It's me.
Oh, okay.
It really does mess with everybody's audio, doesn't it?
Yep.
No. I mean, I heard it messed with Tom there for a second, but
Yeah.
that's not always a bad thing. Is that Pretzel?
No. Just the background music in Restream.
Why am I not seeing it?
I don't know. They changed the interface. It's just on the right now.
Oh,
So now
really?
you can't.
Oh,
Now you can't.
look at that.
Oh, can you turn it off now?
I mean, I can. I won't necessarily do it, but yeah, I can turn it off.
Yeah, because it used to be over on the left, right?
Yeah.
No,
You
left,
used to-
correct?
correct. You used to have to do like an ad source or whatever it was.
Oh, I see it on the left.
On the right.
You
Oh, I
see it on the left?
No, I see the video outro.
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
It's still the same ad source. It just was on the right now, not on the left.
Oh, you still have.
Good night, Frank. Yeah, you still add it like
Night,
you
Frank.
used to.
Night, Frank.
When are you gonna stop the vaping?
I never plan on it.
Oh, why?
Why stop?
NorCal Kid, are you doing
So
doing
bad.
thumbnails? NorCal Kid.
It's not bad.
So I'm driving
is
up
bad.
to visit NorCal Kid tomorrow. Gonna spend the weekend up there. Looking forward to that. First time we've been up there since they moved, and we never went back to the old apartment because like I'm never coming back to this place. No, I'm just kidding. But they have moved to a new
allowed
place,
back.
and we have not seen it. So we're very excited to see the new apartment.
Awesome. You know what I didn't talk about on the show? I spun up a new Laravel app with Sail last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Isn't Sail like 3 times deprecated now?
I don't know. According to the Laravel documentation, that's the way to do things, and that's what I did.
Cool. What are you doing? Can you talk about what you're trying to do in Laravel?
Yeah, so it's so fucking weird. My wife ended up taking over the running club at the elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
The person who ran it before, super nice, but when she first started, as kids ran around, they would collect popsicle sticks for the kid and then have to tally it up manually. Another parent stepped up and was like, hey, I can automate this for you, and you just scan a QR code and everything will work. And so they made it more technical, which was awesome, and it worked great for years, except now she's stepping down because her kid graduated last year, and she's moving on to middle school. So Jackie took over her position. She puts me in touch with the guy who created this web application, or not even web application, just this method of running everything. And he's a jerk. Like, he's not giving me access to anything. He's not helping out, and he's fallen off the face of the earth. Like, he's ghosted us on every request. And I'm like,
always fun.
I'm like, this is stupid. The app on the phone is just that QR to Sheets. So you scan a QR code, it adds it to a Google Sheet. All the crap that was done behind the scenes, turns out I think it's all open source using Google Looker Studio, which looks pretty cool, but I haven't dug into it. So I'm like, adding it to Google, like everything probably could be done in Google Sheets. And I got it where you would write to a Google Sheet from the app. I then have a different tab that has the kids' names and a UUID and a QR code. No big deal, right? Simple to create a QR code. I then brought in a mail merge plugin to print them all out, but that's not cheap. So I'm probably not going to pay for that. I have another tab to say, okay, they've earned the 5 mile, 10 mile, 20 mile, the October, November, December charms, because that's what they're trying to earn. I got all that working in Google Sheets. I have another sheet to say, okay, they need to receive it, and then you can change it and say, okay, they've been given that charm, so you can keep track of who's gotten what and who's earned what. The hard part is reporting on that to say, okay, in this class, these 5 kids got these 20 charms or whatever it works out to be. So I'm like, I can spin up a PHP application super quick, read in the data from the Google Sheet, process everything, and spit out reports super easy. I was reading like 5,000 records rows in a Google Sheet in like half a second. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna try and keep fighting this in Google Sheets. I'm just gonna bring all the data in, do some quick processing, spit out some HTML. My wife can then print it, give each teacher a sheet, give them the charms, and we're done. Like, it's not even gonna be super fancy. It's just that's it. Make it easy.
So
Yeah.
So that's what you're doing in Laravel?
Yeah. So
okay.
That's one of the places where I really like Laravel, and Symfony would not be a good replacement. Is just to spin up a 1-hour project that's got a front end that's manageable. Like, Symfony is great and everything, but I just wouldn't want to use it for that. Laravel is just the perfect solution. Although, so you did have me looking this up. the packages for Laravel because I couldn't remember if Sail was the correct one to go with. So we've got Homestead.
That's the old one.
Valet,
That's the one Eric uses.
Sail,
That's the one
No,
I use.
I use Lando.
Oh yeah.
and Herd.
What about Lando?
Herd is the new one.
Herd
That's,
is the new one, which is not listed on the packages list yet. It's only listed if you click on Homestead. Or no, not Homestead. It's listed if you click on Valet. It says,
And-
you looking for something better? Because Herd is better.
So the problem I had with Herd, and I actually walked out of that. That's about when I walked out. It's like this is meaningless. But they're trying to do the whole GUI interface.
Yeah.
But it was like, oh yeah, you don't have to have this stuff installed. It's just Docker containers, and they're just hiding the fact that you're using Sail, basically.
Which
That's
is
all
like,
it is.
that's the funny thing. Is there's 4 things. There's 4 hosted on your local machine things for Laravel, and it's like, at some point, man, trim the fat. Stop listing Valet or stop listing Homestead.
Yeah, I think you'll see Valet go away. You'll probably see Sail go away too. And I don't mean to slam this stuff by any means. Like, this sort of thing is needed for developers who don't understand OSs or Linux or I do. I'm very fortunate. So for me to kind of do things is not so bad.
Well, it's kind of fortunate, but kind of not. Like, back in the old days, we had to do these things on our own. We didn't have Sail and Valet and stuff like that. So people who are using that don't ever get the experience of, like, how do you manage this? How do you run it? What happens when a container gets corrupted and you can't delete it because Sail doesn't, or Herd doesn't handle, like, when a Docker container poops itself.
And Herd is only on Mac OS, I think. I don't even think there's a Windows version.
All the all of the
it's
stuff
GUI.
is OS X.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's great and all, but I have absolutely zero interest in it.
Well, and their little sample thing is like, yeah, you can switch between PHP 8.3 and 8.2 and 8.1, or you can stop all your containers. Like, cool, I guess. Is that hard stuff?
All right, I'm crashing. I'm gonna go.
Hey man, you have a good one.
Adios. I really want the thumbnail to be a bee with my face and antenna.
Here you go, NorCal kid. If you're not too far along,
12 segment antenna, not 14.
not sure what the difference is.
It's
One has 12
fascinating.
segments, one has 14 segments. Duh.
Oh, I forgot to put our new guy Mel.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Mel on our thing here.
14 segments, not 12. That's what it is. The male bees have 14 segments on their antenna, and the female bees have 12. That's the top 2 segments for male bees are used in finding queens. For the naughty.
For the naughty.
For the naughty.
Mel. What's Mel?
my-
Mel S.
The person I flew with today just shared some videos with me of my flights.
Damn it.
Post them to Patreon.
It's,
Really need to re-record some commercials. My SoCal kid said that they would redo our commercials for us, but
Ooh,
has
that'd be
not
great.
been here. Yeah, if you remember,
Ooh.
they used to do all our commercials and our
Yeah.
intro and outro, even.
Yeah, you got to give them a script.
Yeah. So trying to get them. We might cross paths when I get back from San Francisco, so maybe we'll quickly kick some stuff out. No, you're getting 12. There you go. Seems like you can get your wish there, Tom.
Yeah.
So I was wondering why nobody was joining the live stream, and then I realized we did not do any social media. And the fact that you guys didn't call me out on it means you bums don't do it on the normal.
I
No,
don't
on the
do
normal.
social
On
media
the
at
normal, I
all.
do. I went to look for it and I couldn't log into Twitter, and then I forgot
100%.
Facebook.
I 100% never do it. I don't like social media.
I normally
Twitter-
do.
That Twitter blue is was just too goddamn funny when
Really
I saw
is.
that.
I mean, everything that we didn't even talk about the sign because it was up and down before this between episodes. He put up the giant X sign that was super bright. Did you see that?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you have to see this then because it's ridiculous.
Like I heard a story, they were taking down the old Twitter sign and something happened. Like some marshal came and said, "Hey, you can't just do that."
Well, they did that with this new sign. They just put up a new sign on the roof and straight up like lied. I have to find a video of it flashing. 'cause it
NorCal
is-
Kid says this is a big deal. Maybe that's what I'll do while I'm up there. Maybe I'll go pee on the Twitter wall. That's just a picture, Jen.
That? Yeah. Well, you said post the videos on Patreon.
Yeah.
That's a picture.
Oh, I'm in Discord.
No, I know. I posted just a picture there. I can post the videos there. I don't care.
I don't care. But
Here, you have to see this sign.
lay it on me.
It's pointing directly at a residential complex.
Are you kidding me? How big of a jerk is this guy going to be?
It's not even that he's a jerk. He's just an idiot. And like,
Well, what do you mean it's pointed? It doesn't look.
the video is being recorded from a guy's house across the street, and it's doing this every day. If it was doing this every day, all day and night.
Great.
Like,
This is going good. This is going real well.
it is bonkers stupid.
That's like apparently Elon is having a meeting with Cook from Apple to talk about, try to get him to lower his percentage.
Oh, that'll go well. Apple's notorious for giving away money. You saw that the UK is now requiring cell phones and laptops to have replaceable batteries.
Oh no, I hadn't. Wow, they really don't want Apple over there, do they?
Where?
The UK.
Oh no,
It-
they hate Apple.
They're the ones. They're also saying all connectors have to be USB-C moving forward,
Which is bad. I don't like that decision because USB-C is an inferior standard to Thunderbolt or Lightning or whatever. It is.
not only is it inferior. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm sorry. I'm looking at John's videos here. But I mean, are you going to update that policy every time new and technology comes out. I mean, how
That's what they
quickly did we go through all the different USB types? It was
30
crazy.
years. Remember what year it is. I know it hurts every time you realize it, but we are 23 years away from the millennium.
Right, but what I'm saying is, what did we start out with USB, and how many iterations did we have? I mean, it went through a lot of iterations.
The micro,
Yeah.
That was USB A, and then we had the printer, which was USB B, and then we had micro and mini, and then we got USB C.
Buttery, I don't know why he cut it there. It was kind of a hard landing, but I did not fall on my face. I stood up and kited it all the way to the LZ. So I'm not sure why he stopped it where he did.
Unbelievable. This guy is unbelievable.
Yeah. And Twitter is just, or sorry, X is just such a cesspool.
Mm-hmm.
But the realization that I had to redo our logos on our site because Twitter changed its stupid logo sucked so much.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought of that until you said something. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. Like, pretty much every website in the world now had a Twitter logo.
Yeah. And they still do. And like, fortunately, it's on Font Awesome already. But like, he's talking about changing the logo every couple months now. Have you heard that?
No, I haven't heard that.
Yeah, like it's the
there a
logo is
reason?
not. No. He wants it to be named X, but he is undecided on logos, and might change the name again. And then like so the CEO he hired, her Twitter was like at Twitter CEO or something like that, and she changed it to at X CEO. So guess what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Someone immediately took the at Twitter CEO title and started posting a parody account. It's like, come on. And she has been behind on everything that he has done. Like all the stuff about X. Mm-hmm. She had all of these presentations ready that said Twitter still. And like she was giving talks the day before about Twitter's brand being strong and important. And he's like, yeah, we're changing to X now. And she's like, okay, it's X now. Like, she's just CEO in name only. She's got no control over what he's actually doing.
What a mess. What a mess. This is why we can't have nice things.
I mean, Twitter was never a nice thing.
All right, that's it. We're going to have to kill the stream. I need to get to editing, and you guys are holding me up. So, thanks for hanging out with us, everyone. Goodbye. Bye.